All right, all right. Welcome to the Labor Love podcast again. Guys, we have two of the most dynamic people on the planet joining us tonight. Y'all can already see I ain't need to put no suspense on it. We got the Beards with us on the pod. What's up, Beards?
What's going on,
Can we
Ashford?
say doctor and doctor? Can we say that?
Not yet. I'm not a doctor yet.
That's prophetic.
I'm not
That's
yet.
prophetic.
Look, I get that phone call. Can I
Only
speak
one
to Dr.
doctor.
Beard?
Can I speak to Dr. Beard?
Which one?
Which one? What's up, y'all? How y'all feeling, man?
We good.
We good. We good.
How y'all doing?
Good. So, for anybody who is new to the podcast or new to you guys, which means they've been under a rock, who are the Beards? Who are the Beards?
You asking us that? You want to?
I'm asking y'all.
The
Tell
beards.
us who y'all is.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Dr. Beard.
All right. Well, I'm Darlisha Beard, of course. What else y'all want to know? I mean, I'll give it to you if you want it. You just gotta ask for it.
Okay, since we started with you, you a Dr. Darlisha Beard.
That's
Can you
right.
tell us a little bit about you individually? Like what you got going on?
Okay. Well, I'm Dr. Darlisha Beard, just
Yes,
like
ma'am.
you did. I am a educator by profession. Right now, I'm not in the classroom right now. Ooh, let's keep it
Hallelujah.
that way. But however, I am in a position where I am a literacy coach and I actually coach and support teachers in the classroom with their instructional strategies and those things. Trying to push them to be the best version of themselves. But I've been doing that now for 2 years. However, I've been in the profession. This is my 14th year. Also, I am a mother of two girls, a 7-year-old and a soon to be 3-year-old. That keeps me on my toes. Also, I am married to this awesome man next to me, which is Tra and Beard, the pastor
Pass up.
of the Northwest Church of Christ in South Haven, Mississippi. We have been married for how long? Have we been married? 14 years. Yeah,
Mm.
14 years. We've been knowing each other for 25 years. So this basically most of our lives, not all our life, but most of our life we have known each other, met each other at the age of 14. Um, and the story goes on, which we could talk about as we, you know,
Yeah, for sure.
hmm
All right. I'm Trey Beard. I am married to this wonderful woman of mine, my spine.
Uh-huh.
We together, and Darlisha Beard. Of course, I'm the minister of the Northwest Church of Christ in South Haven, Mississippi, where I planted 15 years ago at the age of 23, which I'm thankful and grateful for God's blessings and hands on that. Um, I don't know if you want to know my education, but that don't really matter. But I'm just a down there.
It does. You work for that.
Well, I got a bachelor's and hold on, my baby and I got a
Okay, we doing life. We doing
yeah,
life.
yeah,
It's okay.
I got a bachelor's degree in social services with a concentration in alcohol and drug studies. I hold a master's in Christian studies with an emphasis in pastoral ministries. I'm currently in my second year working on my doctoral degree in strategic leadership. So
Mhm.
that's a bit about that's it.
In other words, well qualified to have this conversation.
In other words, y'all to go.
The GOAT. Yeah. Soon to be Doctor and Dr.
Yeah.
Beard. So, how did you guys meet?
Mm.
Can y'all even agree on that? Because we can't. We can't agree. Well, we can agree on how we met. We can't agree on the first date. So,
I'm gonna say I know a little bit about the story, but okay, we're gonna
how y'all
Well,
meet?
we actually, well, Trey actually went to school with my cousin. She take credit for putting us together, but I'm like, no, you didn't. But anyway, Actually, you know how you young and y'all get on three-way, all that good stuff. That's basically how I met him through phone first. And then eventually as we get older, I'll say probably what you say? Probably about 17, something like that. I actually no.
When we started dating?
Nah, I was talking about we
Oh.
actually met each other in person.
Oh, okay. No, okay. I thought you were gonna lie. But
Yeah. But I mean we weren't dating then. We was just, you know,
Okay.
14-year-old friends, that type of thing. But we didn't start dating until we was 18. And then, you know, of course we dated. We was 18. We got married when we was 24. And then that's how the story starts.
Yeah.
So
She got majority of that right. That's
what she get wrong?
I'm just teasing.
What I get wrong?
She got majority of it right. She got majority right. She did good.
Okay, so what's the first date?
The first date. You want to know what the first date was? Okay.
Oh, you being nosy.
The first date, we went to where we go? Applebee's.
Don't judge me. Don't judge me.
He said, "Don't judge
No
me."
judgment.
No judgment.
Hey, true story. Our first date was supposed to be Chili's, but somebody didn't show up.
Oh my God!
Don't throw yourself under the bus like that, man. Man threw himself under the bus.
This ain't about us. It's about them. Okay.
Oh my goodness! But yeah, that was our first day. We went to Applebee's.
Cool. So I know you mentioned Dr. Tra Beard. You mentioned that you been in pastoral ministry of a church plant, and if I'm not mistaken, just celebrated a huge milestone. 15 years of planted pastoral ministry.
Yes.
Statistics show that about 70 to 80% of church plants don't make it past year 5.
That's correct.
Sort of like marriages.
Yeah.
So how does it feel to accomplish this milestone?
Man, it feels great to accomplish the milestone. Don't mean it come with challenges, but it feels great. In my mind, I got to start back all over again. Every time I hit a milestone, it's time to act like you just started back. So that's how I kind of think about it. Every time we hit a milestone, 5, 10, now 15, time to kind of start, and in my mind, kind of start back over.
I got you. So what made you want to plant a church?
Okay, so I grew up at the Norris Road Church of Christ under the leadership of Nicole Dale. So a little backdrop. When I got obeyed the gospel at the age of 11, my mom and dad was not members of the church. So when I got baptized in a little small town called Ruleville, Mississippi. It's the Delta part of Mississippi. Y'all may not have heard about that, but it's Delta part, down there, Greenwood, Greenville, all that. So when I came back for the summer, back to Memphis after visiting my grandmother, started going to the Norris Road Church of Christ, started picking me up on the bus. At the time, I think I was 11 when I got baptized. By the age of 13, I started smelling myself a little bit, started doing stuff I shouldn't have been doing. I'll spare y'all the details, but basically, my mind really went on the Lord. It was on other things.
Yeah.
But I still knew Bible though. I know that may sound crazy, but I knew the Bible.
Sure.
But I didn't know God, if that makes sense. So I was baptizing a lot of as young as I was, I knew how to tell people the Bible and tell them what the matter of fact, I tried to teach her the gospel, and then she said, "Ain't you doing such?"
Lord.
So that's one of those things that kind of hit me. It was a crossroad for me. But once I decided to change my life and change the direction I was going, I was still teaching people. I was still baptizing people, but I never wanted to preach at all. Didn't want to preach. Nicole there invited me to his class, and I started going. And he started putting this evangelistic thrust inside of me. So I just got to a point. I was just trying to, in my mind, I just wanted to teach the gospel, right? So when I had this burning feeling in my heart to start a work in South Haven, this may sound strange what I'm about to say, but it wasn't my intent to plant a church.
Mhm.
save souls.
Mhm.
But as a result of saving souls, a church was birthed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
So my intent wasn't to say, "Oh, I'm gonna get this church," and da da da. No, no, no. My intent was, let me save souls, and by saving souls, a church was being planted. But for that
Wow.
in my heart,
Wow. So basically what you're saying was you was just trying to fulfill the commission as you go,
yeah,
make disciples, and then a church was birthed out of that.
correct, exactly, right.
That's dope. That's dope.
That's so beautiful. So, sis, when you realized that a church plant was happening, what was your response?
My response basically was like a normal Christian. That's basically how I looked at it. Cause even like I'm gonna tell you a question that we was asked in premarital counseling. So
Yeah.
a question that was asked to me was, so how you feel about being a minister's wife? And I'm like, it's just like being a Christian. So I thought. Uh so at that time, it wasn't like, how my mind is now. Like at that
Mhm.
time, it kind of to me like it's just church, okay.
Mhm.
I'm a Christian. I'm going to church, okay, whatever. But um basically it wasn't until like we started to like really get in the trenches for me to really understand what it meant to be a minister's wife. But at that time it was kind of like my mindset was okay, it's just church basically.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Cool. So I know ministers sometimes have a talk about like their difficulty
Mhm.
when planning, like people don't support financially, people don't show up, you expecting them to do X, Y, and Z, and they don't. What's the perspective from from a minister's wife, like those beginning stages of the plant? Like, what were some of the things that were kind of challenging from your point of view?
Some of the things that I would say was challenging is basically us actually getting out there to do it, but just seeing like 7 people, okay? Because that's what we started with, and it was kind of like 7 people, okay? We a church now, but it's 7 of us. It was more so where the other people gonna come from, that type of thing, and just seeing it from the birth of where it started, and even just being in it and thinking about okay, how we gonna get more people to come to church? Because now you got to realize we came from a congregation that was like 1,200 people. Like I'm talking about
Wow.
where you go on one building for Bible class and you try to hear you got Bible class so you can make sure you got a seat for worship.
Wow.
Yep.
So to go from that
Hmm.
to being in a congregation that's planted and it only has 7 members, you like, it like, is this gonna work? Or that type of thing. But and even watching like Trey having to basically us putting our resources in to make sure that we had communion. Like one thing I would say, because I tell people this all the time, but one thing that I would say is like on our wedding night, me and Trey was it wasn't what a normal couple just leave a wedding and go do. But what we did was we found ourselves in Walmart first. Then we in Walmart, we had to get grape juice. Yeah, we had to get grape juice, everything for conversion. So we in there. I still got a face full of makeup. I had took my dress and all that off at the church building. But we in the store. We in there trying to shop for grape juice and making sure we got the crackers and all this stuff that we needed.
Mhm.
Um, but that's basically what we was doing. Like we didn't go straight to the hotel, nothing like that. It was just okay, let's feast communion. So we made sure we feast the communion for the next day and all that type of stuff. So it was some sacrificing that had to take place in those beginning stages. But even looking at those beginning stages, I can look back on them now and be like, it was worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's so good. And even just hearing, I'm gonna be honest with you, that first of all, that's funny, okay? Yeah. But even just hearing how like literally the day y'all got married, y'all already tending to the needs of the body, like as y'all continue to grow, because like yes, this was just day one with 7 people, but now, you know, it's how many, well, it don't even matter about the number, as y'all have grown, right? What has it looked like to maintain boundaries? And this is for either one of y'all, but what has it looked like to maintain boundaries and like keep, like, basically keep it separate, so to speak, without it interfering with your personal life? Because I get it that like this is an extension of you. However, we still need boundaries, right? So how have y'all navigated that and like keeping the marriage sacred and not allowing the church to get in the way of that?
Okay, so before you start talking about Beard, one thing that I will say is it looks different from the time because not only was we learning to navigate ministry, but we was learning how to navigate with each other. Because when I first started off, I mean, of course, you get in a marriage, you don't know how to be a wife. You know what people have told you to do in order to be a good wife and that type of thing, but you really don't know how to do that because it looks different in everybody's home. You kind of see what I'm saying? So the thing is, me trying to navigate all these new things, because when we first got married, I'm not only navigating us being in a church plant, but I just navigated graduating from college. I'm now navigating a new job because I had started my first year of teaching. I just navigated being a wife. Like, I had so many new things, like new seasons were happening at this time. So I'm trying to navigate all of this and trying to learn how to do all of it, because of course I didn't do all that. I'm used to doing things, and I was used to doing things on my own, honestly. But as time went on, then I started to see the weight of ministry, because sometimes it's a weight, sometimes you have those, it's like any season of life. Like, you have those, what you see as those good seasons, and then you also have those things where it starts to become challenging. However, the seasons have looked different, okay, within the whole 15 years that we have navigated ministry. However, we only been married for 14, which lets you know I was just girlfriend when he first planted. However, we began to, started to do things together. Like I said, I used to do things on my own, of course, but now I got to navigate something with somebody else. So all of this is, new. But when it came to boundaries, to go back to your question with the boundaries thing, honestly, I did not really understand or have boundaries until later on in ministry. Okay. You try to love on everybody, and then you trying to navigate, making sure the church good, and then you try to navigate making sure, your spouse good, that type of thing, and trying to have a boundary. Like, I didn't have a boundary. You know what I'm saying? But now I know now what it means to have a boundary, because you have to, because one thing would go lacking, and we did have a season in our marriage where things did get lacked, where I seen, my husband spending more time with the church, and I'm like, hold on then, you ain't married the church, you married me. That's how I kind of looked at it, and it became a tough time in our marriage, because now it's like, it was those times where I gotta go here, or I gotta go do this for this person, or I gotta, all of that kept going, and then I'm over here like, hello, it's me, the one you married, that type of thing. But we have had those seasons in our life where we had to come to the table to say, hey, we gotta step back, and we gotta realize we got a marriage to cultivate too. We can cultivate the church, but the church belongs to God. It don't belong to you.
Yeah.
So we gotta try to figure out how you and I can strengthen this, because we always talk about strong families create strong churches. So if he ain't strong, the church ain't gonna be strong. That type of thing. But I let him talk now.
Okay, you got it.
I get it.
Okay. So one of the things I think what my wife just shared is that I don't think I had healthy boundaries in the beginning. I love hard, so it's only when I think, be honest, I think when I went on my sabbatical in 2018, where I started recapturing some things about me personally, and I discovered then, and this may sound weird, but it's biblical that everybody can have my gift, but not everybody can have me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's important, because the reason I'm saying that is because I'm a person that loves real hard, and sometimes you can have expectations
Mm-hmm.
to function in a certain way or to carry a weight that they didn't agree to carry. And so
Mm-hmm.
so I found myself being angry. It was with certain people because I was looking for them to operate a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
but they didn't agree to carry that weight. I put the weight on.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I've learned how to say people can have your gift. God gave your gift for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
who you give yourself to, and that has been a one of the things that has taught me in these 15 years.
Dope, dope. Man, that's key. Because I know we hear a lot about burnout. We hear a lot about, especially like after COVID and during COVID, about marriages separating due to ministry, ministers leaving the pulpit, a whole slew of things because of like the weight of it already. It's a heavy weight to actually do it and put your heart into it. But then you add on your first ministry, which is your marriage and your family, and you add on all that weight on top of the weight of your calling. Um, how are you guys? Like, what are some ways that you guys kind of handle the burnout? Some ways that you guys kind of avoid being burnt out. Some things you do to really take the load off.
I want to share that.
Well, one thing I'm gonna tell you, one thing that we when we got married, we invested in a massage membership because I'm gonna tell you why. Because I had a stressful profession, still do,
Mm-hmm.
just like he has a stressful, profession, and it's something that we agreed upon that we would do as a couple. However, it doesn't look the same because responsibilities are different now. When you first get married, you hee hee ha ha, y'all in each other's face, and y'all do everything together, but you had them seasons of life that come about, their responsibility get bigger like it has. We can't do that no more, and sometimes we have to do that alone. But one thing that I will say is that's another thing that we have been learning, how to do. We along with those boundaries is taking care of ourselves, because if we don't take care of ourselves, we ain't gonna be in there useful. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not useful at all to anybody. And what I have did was I have identified I know if I feel stressed at any point with doing something, sometimes I delegate this stuff to people. I'm just like, look,
Mm-hmm.
I need you to do XYZ because right now it ain't working for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not up to part to do all of this, because you got to understand I got other responsibilities as well that I'm trying to, you know, fulfill.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's leaning on mama to, lead the home. Well, not lead it, what I'm talking about, manage the home.
Mm-hmm.
Manage the home and that type of thing. And it's sometimes it feel like you don't get a break. However, you gotta make time to get a break. Cause sometimes I go hide in the bathroom. I'm just being
Come on,
real.
somebody.
I
Come
go
on,
hide in the
somebody.
That's
bathroom.
what you be doing.
My baby's still in the bathtub floor, but I be in there though.
Then some days, like I just did not too long ago, I sit in the car for a minute. I'm just like, look, I just need a breather before I start hearing mama this and mama that and Darlisha, can you do this? Can you do before I hear all of that? I need to, kind of give myself a breather. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I have to remind myself to do that because sometimes I don't. Like sometimes, I just want to keep going, going, going because you know how you want to finish something, but you just like, I got to get it done. When I finish and then I relax. But sometimes I have to stop in the moment, like literally
That's good.
stop and reset.
And so let me add on to what you also, she said a lot of good stuff. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things we do, we both have a therapist. She has her own therapist. I have my own.
Oh
therapist.
yeah, I forgot about the third.
So we both have a therapist. But one of the things also, we talked about earlier about setting boundaries. We have set boundaries with each other too. So that's important with your spouse to set boundaries with your spouse, because boundaries doesn't mean boundaries are not bad. Because sometimes people, when they hear boundary, they say, "Oh, that's something." No, it's not bad. It's a protective mechanism, and so we know each other's boundaries to a certain way, so we won't trigger each other in those things. So all that works together when you talk about burnout, self-care. Make sure you take care of yourself. Make sure you have accountability partners or something. I recommend therapy for anybody, people who
Amen.
because it's necessary to keep yourself healthy.
Yeah.
Wow. So when did you come to the realization that it was okay to set boundaries, not only with people outside of the marriage, but like boundaries with each other? Like, how did you come up to that realization?
You get frustrated enough and irritated enough.
And a cycle of the same argument over and over and over and over again.
It's a book. I don't know if y'all. It's a book called "She Needs Love, He Needs Respect."
I heard of that.
And in the book, great book, and I recommend it. In the book, it talks about the crazy cycle. Crazy cycle. It just repeats. When she feels not loved, he feels disrespected, and neither one of them needs to be getting met. And so the cycle just keeps going over and over and over again. So that when frustration happens, and they're being honest with each other and saying, this is the issue for me, this is the problem, and hearing each other. That's for us. That's big for us. Even now, to have these difficult conversations and these different dialogue. Because think about it, I've told you all the time, we don't have a perfect marriage, but it's strong. I promise you, it's strong. It's not perfect, but it's strong. And so boundaries with each other is just as important with boundaries with other people.
And there's not a I tell you today what my boundaries are, and then you go on, but we continue to. It's like anything that you like. If you trying to tell your kids, you do XYZ, you go through the same routine every day. It's the same thing. Like, we have to remind each other, okay, I need you to lower your tone. I need you to do, that type of stuff, because we have to understand that we are a partnership. And this is not it's a partnership, but it's not a warship. Okay.
Wow.
So we have to understand that we on the same team. Sometimes the ball in your court, sometimes it's in mine. But as long as we got the ball, we straight. That's how I look at it. So like he said, like, we have to, we just keep telling each other, that, come on, when you get beside you, kind of wheel back,
Wow.
that type of thing. Because we do, sometimes life will take you there. I'm just being real, so you know how it is. They try to say, you don't supposed to act like that. You don't supposed to do that. And you don't supposed to do that. But let me tell you, when life start lifing, you gonna do whatever you feel at that point. Now you'll be like, okay, I apologize, but at the same time, sometimes this stuff just happens. It's yeah.
That reminds me of something one of my mentors said. He said, in a relationship, no matter how good the person is, sometimes you just have to reteach and remind them how to love you. So like Christians, we all know that we're commanded to love, right? I don't have to tell you to love me, but in any relationship, sometimes I have to remind you how I need to be loved. So it sounds like when you guys were just talking there, it reminded me like I can't expect somebody to read my mind. Like, even we grow and we change and we evolve like through life. The way I wanted to be loved, my love language last year might not be my love language this year. So if I wanted all QT, quality time, last year, but this year I just need you to affirm me.
Right.
You want to spend quality time, but you ain't saying nothing. I need you to say something to me.
Yeah.
So like, I definitely get that what you were saying. Yeah, for sure.
And even I was listening to you say when life start life and how you have to remind each other of some of those things. I'm just curious to know, what are some key moments that have strengthened y'all marriage as y'all have navigated all the nuances of marriage and leadership within the church and everything that goes along with it.
Repeat that again. What you say?
Some key that's okay. What are some key moments that have strengthened y'all's marriage as it relates to navigating, church leadership together and as well as the roles outside of that?
What you was saying? I think like okay, so let me give you another example because life has it has changed a lot for us. Okay, so some of the things like even right now we're in a much different season. Let's put it like that. And when I say much different, what I'm referring to is like I will always tell people, what y'all say that we'll go through in our 50s and 60s are now going on in our 30s. And when I say that, I'm referring to like our parents being older, of course, Trey lost his dad in 21 and life didn't stop. Like we had to just get to going. Like life did not stop. Like when I say we had to plan a funeral, we had to bury his dad. Not only that, now it's time for us to think about what are we gonna do, as far as caring for his mom, that type of thing. On top of all the other stuff.
Yeah.
And we trying to navigate, all these things and make sure that we stay mentally sane. That's another reason I gotta go see, the therapist because I gotta make sure I stay in tune with what's going on. But not only that, but to also, take care of myself. But some of the you say some of the key things that keep us strong.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
strengthens.
that strengthens our marriage.
Yeah.
Some of the key things I would say is one thing is spending time with each other because one thing that we also lost like just navigating life is we used to when we used to gag in each other's face, I was telling y'all about when we used to do that, it used to be every Friday used to be date night. Like every Friday, it never failed. Every Friday was date night.
Yeah.
But hey, when you start having the kids and all that responsibility
Yeah.
comes on, you kind of lose it. So when we have, decided to go back to not every Friday, but at least every other Friday, ask my mom, can you watch the children while we go hang out and have fun with each other? Because if you don't spend time with each other, like when we get off this podcast, it's gonna be us, and she gonna have to go to bed because she don't want to. But just to spend some type of quality time with each other, because sometimes we do our own things. He doing his own thing, I'm doing my own thing. But sometimes you just gotta stop. So
Yeah.
I'll tell you now where my work bag is. It's sitting in my car. There's another boundary that I had to create. It stays in the car and it gave y'all all my time during the day. Now I gotta come home and give my time to my man. If you kind of know what I'm saying.
I love that.
So yeah, so
Yeah.
the bag stays in the car. I don't even take the
Yeah.
bag out the car. It's sitting right there where it needs to be when I pick it
Yeah.
back up in the morning time. So those are some things that actually kind of help keep us balanced where we need to be.
And let me add this too. Also, the stuff that she talked about, my dad losing my dad and taking care of my mom. Those are different challenges that you face because we none of now one of us never lost a parent before until 2021. So that changed a different dynamic and season in the marriage. Well, now you use moments like those to strengthen the marriage right, versus being challenged. So we learned some things. Man, that was one of the most challenging times of my life, watching my dad pass away and slowly watching him pass. That was stressful. It was overbearing. And so but we got through it. And resilience. And so we pushed through it. And so that's strengthened. I think even though it's in that don't sound like it, but those moments, how strong you are.
Yeah.
How much weight you can carry.
Yeah.
You talk about you going to a gym. You don't know how strong you are until you start pressing certain amounts of weight.
Mm-hmm.
So I think any marriage, you don't know how strong your marriage is until a storm happens.
That's so
You don't know.
good. That's
Wow.
so good. And what I'm hearing is it's the struggle that's building the strength.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Wow.
So good.
Yeah,
Wow.
I thought when you said that, Amber, I thought of I thought of in Exodus 1, where the
Come on.
Bible when Pharaoh was, the Bible says the more that they was afflicted,
Yeah.
multiplied and grew. So
Mm.
the more they was afflicted, they got more intimate with each other. They started having
That's
babies.
so good.
So yeah.
And this is the part of the podcast where everybody can participate. We're gonna put up the cash out. Hallelujah. Sow a seed in the good ground. Hallelujah. Man, that's so beautiful, man.
Yeah.
It's the struggle that builds the strength.
Yep.
Man,
Yeah.
you can't build no muscle with no little weight.
Nah, not at all.
Boy, what
Hey,
I
listen,
tell you, I felt that.
listen, and you got to be each other's spotter. You got to be each other's spotter
Mm.
Yeah.
because I can't do it by myself. I need somebody
That's
to.
it.
The way to crush you by yourself.
That's
Yeah.
it.
You need a spotter.
Yeah.
If you hear it again, I'm gonna give you credit the first time.
Yeah.
After that is mine.
Yeah.
man. So I know we are both kind of like on a kind of like a time crunch, but one of the things I really wanted to ask, because for those who don't know, you guys are like I wouldn't say spiritual parents, but you are the spiritual parents per se.
I ain't old.
Because I'm like you. I knew the Bible, but I didn't know God when I came to Northwest. So I got exposed to like God for real when I came to Northwest. How, and this may sound like a crazy question, but it's a question that I don't think is answered often. You are a spiritual leader. Your wife, in her own right, is a spiritual leader. Both of you guys, no matter what some people say, this is our platform. Both of you guys are pastor and co-pastor of the Northwest Church. I don't care what people say. She is your rock as you lead. She is basically your Aaron, a female Aaron that holds your arms up. So you pour out spiritually to hundreds of people every week, and probably thousands online, and probably tens of thousands during the course of whatever that airs on YouTube or Facebook. How do you guys make sure you are spiritually fed, individually and collectively? Like, how do you make sure that you are not pouring from an empty cup?
Okay, so let me tell you my thesis on this, and she probably know what I'm going to say. See, here's the thing: when I preach and when I teach, either one of those it's already convicted me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm teaching, I'm preaching from the overflow.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't study to preach. I preach from my studies. So when I'm studying the Bible, I want to know what God had. What does God want to say to me in that moment? And I just so happen when I get up on Sunday, you just heard the conversation me and God just had.
Mm-hmm.
So I make sure not to get so caught up on this is what Brother Yoda told me, and I always reference him because I thank God for what he's put in my life. But he says, son, don't be so interested in knowing the mastering the text. Let the text master you.
Mm. Yeah.
And that for me, that means have a relationship with God for real, right? So after you do all the homiletics and after you do all the study and break down all the word, are you doing all of that? Make sure that you know God for yourself. And so I'm always pointing. So she'll tell you, I'm always reading something. I'm always doing a devotional. I'm always saying, God, what are you saying to me? And so every now and then she'll hear me say, she said, what's wrong with you? Man, God just said something to me. God just hit me. And sometimes I say, you know what I'm talking about? I'd be like, Lord Jesus, because God is speaking. So I'm always making sure that I'm have open communication with God, and I let her say her spiel.
And that helps me, like, when I do have my alone time. Like, I try to make sure that whatever I'm listening to or whatever I'm engaged with, because a lot of times we think just because this preacher preaching, or this call and that call is associated with those people, it's kind of like I try to make sure I guard myself too. When I say I'm guarding myself, I'm being cautious of the things that I'm listening to, the things that are speaking to me. Okay. Because sometimes you can hear some, it sounds good, but it ain't the word, it ain't the book. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people they say good stuff, but it don't align with scripture. And you gotta be able to say, this the word, or you got to be able to say, nah, that ain't the word. So, this type of thing. But even in the morning time, just when I'm in my car, because sometimes I don't get up early, and I want to get up early before everybody hit the snooze button, but it don't work that way. Sometimes my alone time comes either when I'm in my office or when I'm in my car. Okay. And sometimes I make sure I'm listening to, good music. Sometimes it depends on what kind of day. Sometimes I have to crank it up. So I
South
get
Memphis. South Memphis. Yeah.
crank it up when I get to work. But that's kind of how I balance myself, and even making sure that I'm in tune with the word, not only, with just listening to it, but even when I'm in worship and the word is being preached, even when I'm in Bible class and the word is being preached. Taking those things, going back to look at those things, making sure my preacher teaching me right. And those type of things, just trying to make sure that I stay connected. Because sometimes it's hard to stay connected, but I do stay connected.
My question now, thank y'all for sharing that. And what I want to know, so the majority of this time we have talked about marriage and ministry, right? And I would just like to hear y'all both speak to specifically pastors. What is your advice to men who are in ministry to ensure that your marriage is your first ministry? Because I feel like y'all named before, it's easy to get caught up in showing up for the church that your first ministry gets neglected. So what is your advice to pastors specifically? And since I would even love to hear from you, like, what does it even look like to support the man of God, but again, keeping the marriage the first ministry?
So growing together is important. That's number one. I would tell any pastor, any preacher, that if you marry, you make sure that you grow together. Because if you don't grow together, you're gonna find yourself in a space where it's gonna be unease. So I think that's number one, making sure that you're all on the same path of growth together. And what I mean by that is, that they don't always have to mean opening the Bible, but just mean doing things together. So, and sometimes, the calling on the man of God's life is heavy. And so sometimes even the wife may not understand that, so he has to be sensitive to the fact that God called him, not her, and be sensitive to the fact that she may not understand exactly what it is, but you got to be sensitive to that. So make sure one of the things I probably should have done earlier on is that, anything that was going on, I was going to. I was rushing to it, because, man, I was eating that stuff up. But my wife, she probably didn't want to go there every she probably didn't feel like going on Sunday afternoon, going nowhere. She want to go home. Right? So you got to be sensitive to the fact that, okay, I went last week somewhere. This week, I'm going with my family. We're going to do something different. We're not going today. They'll be okay. They know you support them all the time. So you got to have those boundaries But in order for that work, you got to make sure she's first, the family's first. And sometimes I have not always done a good job of that. And so as I go forth in my ministry, I make sure that I never want my children to grow up to say, Daddy was for everybody, it was there for everybody else, but Daddy was. So everything, my baby just had chapel she wanted me to come to. I made sure I went to chapel. Even it was only 20 minutes. 20 minutes ain't gonna hurt nothing.
Yeah.
They can wait, people, whatever the appointment, they can wait 20 minutes. So so I just think making sure you being intentional about she knowing that she's priority, being in the family, knowing that, being intentional. And you got to make it intentional. Make bold, do bold stuff. Can you do this? Well, let me talk to my wife first.
Yeah.
They say amen, just say ouch.
But yeah, you also you do have to look at it as a partnership, because there are times where Trey got to pick up the pieces when I can't pick up the pieces, or we take turns. Like this time he went to chapel with Madison. The next chapel did her class does, of course, me. Field trip. If he go on the first one, I go on the next one, that type of thing. But when we're looking at just, trying to support him in ministry, basically, I just make sure that I work along with him, and trying to be the example, that type of thing. Because sometimes, like he said, sometimes the wife don't understand, and sometimes I don't understand. I'd be like, what's the problem, and so just try to make sure I'm working, because you can lead a lot of people, like in ministry, a lot of preachers, a lot of minister wives have to realize, you have to really work with each other. And when I say work with each other, sometimes it can cause a rift if he's at a point spiritually and then you at another spiritual level. And when I say that, I'm saying for instance, he the preacher. Just say he the preacher, but then I don't want to come to Baptist class. I don't want to do no work in the church. And I ain't telling you got to lead the women's ministry, because a lot of times that is kind of put on the minister wife that she got to do that. But you don't have to do that, but you need to be doing something with your hands, sis. I don't mean no harm. You got to be doing something. Like your husband can't be leading no church and then, you left behind. Like no wife left behind. I mean, you gotta be doing something, for real. And I've seen oftentimes where marriages have split up because of things like that. You on one playing field and then he on a whole nother playing field. He trying to be the visionary and push the church, but then you over here causing division over here. Different stuff like that. Like you got to make sure you on the same playing field. Because that'll destroy you.
And what happens, what we sometimes you can get here's the thing, you don't want the person in your home see you as a person who's not sincere. And what I mean by that is that y'all are, we didn't argue at the church, but we didn't argue all the way to church. And now we gotta act like we good. We
make
ain't
it
good.
till you make it.
Yeah, we gotta fake it. No, we ain't gonna do that. Let's we understand we ain't gonna do that. We're gonna realize, where we are and find out how can we fix it. So we want to be sincere. So you got to make it intentional. It's not going to, I'm telling you, this thing called ministry, it can be damaging, especially if you don't have the right men to shepherd you away from the pedestal. So
that's dope. That's dope, man.
And then support looks different on different things. Because sometimes, if I see that Trey has done something that I feel he shouldn't have done, like he might say something, because I do it all the time. He probably said something in a certain way, and I saw him talking to somebody, like talking to a member and they was having there was a biblical conversation or something like that, like maybe you could have said that a little better than what you said. And he'll be like, yeah, you right, that type of thing. That's supporting him too, making sure like when you ain't right, I'm gonna say something about it. And I want you to hold me accountable just like I hold you accountable. Like accountability has to take place too. Like you just can't let certain stuff ride. You gotta be like, look, you could have did that, a lot different. But like I said, it's like a partnership. Like look out for your mate. That's how you support them. Look out for them too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, you guys just spoke to something so key. I think it's the proverb writer that says, walk with the wise and become wise. But a companion of fools suffers harm, right? And so if you walking with somebody every day, i.e. your spouse, them being wise is really something you definitely need. like you just mentioned, you speak to him like, hey, you could have said that a little different, or I wouldn't have said it like that. Amber Denise Ashford does that to me all the time. And I attribute a lot of my maturation as a man to this woman that God gave me. Because before Amber, y'all know. The world don't need to know, but y'all know. Y'all already know. But man, just that having somebody that's for real your help, that is so pivotal, and I'm glad you guys spoke to that. So rapid fire question as we wrap up. Both of y'all, what is one thing you wish you knew before you said I do? It could be. Let me say it one more time for clarity. One thing you wish you knew before you said I do.
I'm gonna let her go first.
Why I gotta go first? I would say, don't be stubborn. Okay, let me tell you why I say don't be stubborn. Because marriage has taught me that my stubbornness don't win. Let's put it like that. It used to win when I was younger. Like I can get, I can be stubborn and then, I win. I mean, it is what it is. I ain't doing it because I don't want to do it. But I have learned because marriage matures you. It does, just like you said, Andre. It matures you. You learn how to come out of some of this stuff. It ain't easy because I'm used to doing it. So of course it ain't easy, but that's one thing that I was, since you said one, that was one thing that I should have told myself before I said I do, seriously, because that can cause a lot of detriment when it comes to marriage, being stubborn.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
One thing I wish I had known before I got married. One thing. Just one.
Lean in, child of God.
Lean in.
That's a hard one. I'm trying to think of one. I'm sitting here contemplating. What would I wish I had known before I got married? Oh,
get out, stubborn.
No, every day. Even I wish I'd have known the first 5 years. I didn't know the first 5 years was gonna be the hardest years. I didn't know that. That then, because sometimes, especially when you are independent in your walk, and sometimes when you just want to get away and you can't do it. So that's a struggle. That can be a struggle. I'm gonna tell y'all a funny story. I'm tell you, Andre, I know you know. I'm gonna tell you a funny story. I made up in my mind I was gonna come home, wash my car, I was gonna clean my car. I had my mind. I was good mood.
Uh-huh.
Gonna wash my car. Gonna be some time just be outside for the nightfall. Got all my stuff. I got home. We got in the argument. So forth. We're going back and forth. And I said, I need to go wash my car. Now you gonna talk to me right now. So I finished the conversation because I was being godly. I didn't walk out the room, stayed there. But then, just to prove my point, you know what I did? I went outside and washed my car and couldn't see nothing.
In the dark.
But I had to watch, but I wanted to prove my point.
No, where we live, there's no street lights.
Yeah, we live
no lights.
No street lights.
So I'm out there washing in the dark, mad. And so every day ain't gonna be a happy day. And so you gotta learn. That's funny to you. Listen to that. That's funny to you. Listen. Yeah.
I don't know what you saying.
Nothing. Mad.
Woo. Okay, let me stop. Let me get it together.
Got spots and stuff everywhere in it. Yeah, it was just a mess.
Look, I'm not gonna play with y'all tonight. But yeah, I remember the first time hearing that story. Boy, I about fell over. Remind me of something I would do. I'm gonna wash my car. Yeah. For sure. Well, man, listen. It's been an honor.
Yes.
It's legit been an honor and a privilege just to speak to you guys and really, like they say, pick your brain.
Mm-hmm.
You got 14 years of marriage, 15 years in a church plant. You've got 28 years together, right? Is that what you said?
25
years together. I'm giving y'all years. Hallelujah. 25 years together. And it all has gotten you to this moment. We are better, stronger, wiser just from having this conversation with you guys. And I know the viewers as well. Before we leave, what can the people who want to stay connected to you, where can they find you guys?
They can find us on our personal Facebook pages, Tra Beard, Darlisha Beard. I have Instagram. I don't have other. I think I got TikTok. I'm not sure. That's how I know I'm getting old because I can't keep up. They can find us. They can stay connected to us, and also our Northwest Church of Christ page as well.
For sure. For those of you who are in the North Mississippi, Memphis area, I'm saying this because I know it to be true. There's no other place. Fight me, write me, email me. There's no other place. Let me look directly. There's no other place in that area where you could go to we becoming the place where people come. Come on, finish.
Oh, you know it, Doc. To
receive social. Come on.
That's it.
Help. There's no other place where you can go and get a 5-word every Sunday, where you can go and be plugged in to a community. They got ministries on ministries, not just to have them, but so you can be plugged in and really be involved of the life of the church. And the worship is like none other. So Northwest Church of Christ there in South Haven, Mississippi. Guys, we love y'all.
Love y'all
We love y'all back.
Ain't nothing you can do about it, huh? Hallelujah.
We're gonna send y'all fun here pretty soon.
Yeah, we gonna pack Caleb like a 2-month bag.
Oh my goodness.
Hopefully,
you gotta stay long enough to do a Daniel fast, and we gonna come and get it.
Y'all gonna be at the Nehemiah Summit?
Say what now?
Y'all coming to the Nehemiah Summit?
We are planning to, yeah, for sure. For sure. But with that, guys, it's been a pleasure. As we always say, when you love on purpose,
you live in purpose.
You live in purpose.
Bless you.
We'll see you.
Thank y'all.
All right, bye y'all.
Bye.
And then I'm gonna cut it right there because I don't know how to stop the recording. Here we go, right here.